In Colnbrook, where the land lies flat, and the road once carried more hooves than footsteps, there is an inn that has learned how to wait. The Ostrich Inn. It stands close to the old high street, its timber frame bent slightly with age, its walls darkened by centuries of weather, smoke and listening. By day, it looks like many old English inns. Low beams, small windows, a building that leans because it has never fully stopped moving with time. But night has always known it differently. Colnbrook was important once, long before planes passed overhead, before engines hummed through the dark. This village sat on a road that mattered. A road out of London, a road west. By the early 1600s, the stretch of land saw merchants, lawyers, cloth traders, and travellers carrying more wealth than they realised. They arrived late, cold, road-worn, relieved to see a light still burning. And the Ostrich Inn offered what all inns promised: a fire, a meal, a bed. The building itself was already old then. Some say it had stood since 1106, though even in the 17th century, no one could quite prove it. What was certain was that the inn had grown outward and upward over time. Rooms added, staircases shifted, doors leading nowhere obvious. The sort of place where the floorboards remembered footsteps long after the people were gone. There was a landlord. There is always a landlord in stories like this. A man who understood silence better than conversation, who smiled easily but without warmth, who asked few questions and listened very carefully to the answers given without thinking. He learned which guests travelled alone, which ones paid in coin instead of promise, which ones planned to leave early. And beside him, his wife, quieter still, a woman who kept keys close and questions farther away. Those who remembered her later could never quite agree on her expression. Some said stern, some said tired, some said she looked like someone who had stopped asking forgiveness. The rooms were small, low-ceilinged, the beds heavy with age. One room in particular was always offered last, always upstairs, always at the end of the corridor. It was not uncomfortable. That was the problem. Those who took it slept deeply, too deeply, and by morning they were gone. No cries were heard, no signs of struggle, just absence. A horse left waiting, a purse never claimed, a name that stopped being spoken. How many? The number changes depending on who tells the story. Some say 60, some say 70. The inn does not correct them. By daylight, nothing appeared wrong. The room was clean, the bed neatly made. The landlord would shrug, the wife would turn away. Travellers learned quickly not to linger in Colnbrook if someone failed to appear at breakfast. But stories travel faster than coaches. By candlelight, people began to whisper, and by the time the century turned, the Ostrich Inn had earned something worse than fear, a reputation. And then one night, something went wrong. A traveller did not arrive alone. A horse was found wandering. A search was made, and beneath the room upstairs, something was discovered that should never have been built into a place meant for rest. After that, the road learned a new rule. Do not stop late. Do not stay alone. Do not trust an inn that feels too quiet. The landlord and his wife vanished from the record soon after. Whether they fled, were arrested, or simply dissolved into the century, no one is certain. But the inn remained, because buildings remember, even when people do not. Later, tellings would grow darker. The tale would spread. A bed above a trap, a fall that made no sound, a room beneath the room. And from this place, some would later claim, came the bones of another story. A London barber, a chair and a blade. The idea that a trusted service could hide something unspeakable. Whether that story truly began here or only borrowed the shape of the inn, no one can say, but the echo remains. By the 18th century, another name brushed against its walls. Dick Turpin. Highwayman, fugitive, a man who understood roads and how quickly trust could turn. Some say he hid here. Some say he waited out at night behind these doors. Whether he did or not, the idea settled in easily. The inn has always been a place to disappear. Centuries passed, the road changed, horses faded, the coaches slowed, then disappeared. But the Ostrich Inn stayed, and with it, the rooms. Guests who sleep there now do not speak of murder. They speak of something quieter. Footsteps above the bar, along the corridor, measured and careful, as if someone is afraid of being heard again. They speak of waking suddenly, with the feeling that someone else is in the room, not watching, waiting, standing where a person once stood for a very long time. Some say the bed shifts. Not violently, just enough to remind them that they are not the first to sleep there. Others hear sounds that do not belong to the present. A coach settling, leather creaking, hooves in the distance, sounds that stop as soon as they are noticed. The hearth sometimes holds warmth where no fire burns, as though someone once decided this room should never go cold again. These are not angry ghosts. They do not chase. They do not scream. They behave like travellers. They linger. They listen. They expect morning, because inns are thresholds. Between road and rest, between stranger and shelter, and sometimes between life and what follows quietly behind it. So when the lights are lowered and the building settles into itself, the Ostrich Inn becomes what it has always been, a place where not everyone finished their night, a place where footsteps still know the way, a place where the past does not intrude. It simply waits. Sleep well, and if you ever lie awake in an old room, on an old road, and feel that gentle certainty that someone else is present, do not be afraid. it may only be a traveller who has been waiting for dawn for longer than they remember.